Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom, and welcome to another exciting episode of Frail Conversations. And today, as you've seen from the title, we're going to be talking about routine and habit. I'm kind of in a flow, especially coming from the law of vibration that dropped on Wednesday, and just the whole passion, commitment, consistency, and discipline thing. This is the next thing in line. You feel what I'm saying? This is the next point to go with. And so I wanted to discuss on routine and habit because that's like the next step. A lot of people want to understand, I ain't gonna say want to understand, but can't, they struggle with habits, like breaking habits, creating habits, and they don't realize how much a habit, how easy and how difficult a habit is formed and how it is established through, routine and, vibration. And just the whole consistency of doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again until it gets to a point where you're doing it without thinking about it. You're doing it, unconsciously. When we consider the purpose of routines, even if you look at it from, spiritual perspective, like this is what rituals are really about. Rituals are designed to establish something that can bypass your conscious mind, bypass your subconscious mind and go into your unconscious mind to become a habit. So it could become something that you readily do. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I want to talk about this with my brothers and shit is because I look at how we we want certain results in life, and we want certain we want to earn certain things, but we don't necessarily want to develop the habits necessary to do so. And a lot of times habits don't take root in our lives, and habits are hard to be unrooted because of the way in which we approach them. We've been programmed and conditioned to believe that if you just do something over and over again, it will become a habit. Habits don't, you don't have, habits isn't something that you have to force to becoming anything, right? It's an intention. And I don't even remember which episode it was when I said this, but it ties into this. Uh, but I was talking about how intentions are only and can be set in the unconscious mind. Like when you hear, social media motherfuckers and everything, oh, I'm setting my intentions to the moon, or these weren't my intentions. But if the action and the habit presents itself, those are your intentions. Whether you want to be, you want to be caught or not, or whether you meant to have it turn out the way that it turned out, or have the person feel how you felt, or whatever the case may be, these habits are there because they are intentional. You feel what I'm saying? And so, as we discussed habits and routine from this episode, it's kind of going to spin back and put everything together. But one thing that I didn't say when I talked about passion, if I did, I don't remember saying it. If I didn't say about passion, commitment, routine, and discipline is intention, right? Before you can have any kind of passion about anything, you have to have intention for it, which is how the synergy is created in order to develop a solid habit. So I got young homies, I got big homies, I got a lot of people who ask me like, yo, how is it, how do you remain consistent? Because I create certain things that turn into habits, certain routines that I have, develop into habits. Now, I can't tell you how to get the routine without telling you about passion. I can't tell you how to establish the routine without having commitment. I can't tell you to have a routine without having the discipline and consistency, right? And therefore, I can't tell you to have a habit without having intention. Because the routine is really just, okay, after my passion is developed, after I'm committed to it, after I know that I got to be consistent and commit, and I got to be disciplined and consistent with the shit, that's when my routine starts to form. The routine is a function of consistency. You feel me? And consistency is a byproduct and a correlation with discipline. So until I'm disciplined, until I'm consistent, I don't develop a routine. We try to work from the top down instead of from the bottom up. And a lot of times that's what fucks us up heavily the most, because you can't build a house from the attic to the basement. You have to build from the basement to the attic. You feel what I'm saying? But society teaches us that everything could be done in a quick fix. You feel what I'm saying? Hey, if you just set up your routine, make a schedule and do this, schedules is bullshit. Schedules don't do shit. You feel me? And if you go back to the law of vibration, that's when I was talking about your vibration is the cycles and the frequency of what you do per unit of time. Now, this time could be weekly, this time could be daily, this time could be monthly, this time could be whatever. And when we focus on the unit of time, the routine fits within the frequency. Matter of fact, the routine emerges from the frequency, which also by proxy emerges from the discipline and the consistency, right? When you've done the routine enough, it becomes habit. When you've done the routine enough, it becomes habit to where you don't have to think about it anymore. So when it's actually time to show up and do, the habit is there. You feel what I'm saying? You don't have to think consciously about it anymore. It just happens, almost on some autonomous shit. It's like Ultra Instinct and shit on Dragon Ball Z. If y'all watch that shit, Goku done reached a new level where he got Ultra Instinct, to where it's like you get to a proficient level so strong that you don't have to think about the passion. You don't have to think about the commitment. You don't have to think about the discipline. You don't have to think about the routine. The habit is so wired that you don't have to think about it, which gives your mind space to think about other things and do other things, because the habits are rooted. All right. But before we dive heavy into that, be sure to follow me on Instagram at Seen the Light. Be sure to check out my website at IamJustSeen.com to get all things that are just seen. To all those who tip, donate, and sponsor to the podcast, you are greatly appreciated. To all those who would like to tip, donate, and sponsor to the podcast, you can do so by clicking the link in the description of the podcast. Not the episode, but the podcast itself. And you know the vibes. Cash App and PayPal are just fine. And as always, that's that for this and that's this for that. So we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to dive into So Frail conversations, routine, and habit. And don't forget to visit IamJustSeen.com. There, you can get all things Just Seen. You want to add the So Frail series to your library? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You want to learn how to master the markets for serious trading and investing? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You want to get your hands on some exclusive merch like tees, hoodies, coffee mugs, hats, bags? Visit IamJustSeen.com. Are you thinking about transitioning into the plant-based lifestyle? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You ever want to just chat with Seen about anything from simple advice to mentorship? Visit IamJustSeen.com. Anything and everything that is me, you can find at IamJustSeen.com. So take a quick peek into my world to see why being just seen is nothing less but always more. Because you never really know what you need until you see it, and you will never see it unless you visit IamJustSeen.com. All right. Welcome back. And without further ado, we're going to dive heavy into this motherfucker. I was supposed to say that first, but somehow I just lost my words. So when we look at routine and habit, right? Your habits are the final piece of everything, right? What I notice, and I'm gonna use this because this So Frail conversation, the ladies shouldn't be listening anyway. Women be like, men can't be consistent, but they don't pay attention to what our habits are. You feel what I'm saying? They don't pay attention to what our habits are. Your habits are the highest peak of what you're consistent with, right? If you want to know who the fuck you are, if you want to know who you are, and if you want to know like what things really impact you the most, or what things are really the things that define you, look at your habits. Now the problem is we think habits are the things we stick to a schedule, and that's not necessarily the case, right? Your habits are the things that are autonomously done within your vibration to make you, that you do on a regular basis. Brushing your teeth, that's a habit. You don't think about brushing your teeth. You don't think about which hand you got to go into. You don't think about the fact that you got to brush your gums, brush your tongue, brush the top of your mouth, brush the bottom of your mouth, and you know what I'm saying? Floss and rinse and do all of the other shit, oil pull. You don't think about any of that shit no more. You just do it. You feel me? And that's where the habit part comes in, but it comes from a routine, and it comes from a routine of establishing that why it's necessary to do everything, to do something a certain way every time to develop the routine, right? It comes from continually doing it over and over and over again. You know what I'm saying? And it can be tricky. And that can be tricky. This is why I wanted to use this with So Frail conversations, because masculinity has to be involved, because in addition to your routines, you tweak them, you fine tune them, you find through the analysis and deconstruction, you find, okay, this routine isn't working or this habit isn't working. We get lost in insanity loops oftentimes because society will program us to, if you just trust the process. Niggas want you to trust the fucking process instead of understanding what a process is. You feel what I'm saying? You cannot form a habit out of a process that you do not understand. You feel me? And this is one of the things that, shameless plug. This is why I teach mastering the market and inflation the way that I do. you know. And I know we haven't been in inflation a long time, but master the market, that's where the foundation is. You can't come to inflate with inflation without mastering the market first. You're not going to get it. And that's why, because you can't trust the process, because this trading and investing has to become a habit, has to become habitual for you. But in order to become habitual, you have to start off with an intention of having the passion to do it, right? Every emotion that you feel has to be tied into this shit, right? So this is one of the reasons why it's hard for us to even develop habits or break habits, because of the emotionality that's tied into it. You feel what I'm saying? Sometimes we often get wrapped up in, habit is, not even habit, just addiction as well. Like some of the shit that we addicted to, people don't want to admit or acknowledge that it's a habit. So you put a negative connotation on it, your negative habits or addictions or whatever the case may be. No, you're going to do this shit every single day because it now has, or you're going to feel a certain way. The same way you feel when if you've ever had an addiction, the same way you feel when you're not feeding that addiction is how you're supposed to feel when you're not following your habits, when you're not following your routines. You feel what I'm saying? That's the same way you're supposed to feel. Why don't we feel that way? The reason why is because addiction, although it's not supposed to be this way, addiction is tied to euphoria. Everything that we're addicted to gives us euphoric feelings. Even if we can't acknowledge what the euphoria really is, off the other side of that, they've conditioned us and wired us to make sure that discipline was tied to trauma. So when you quote unquote, I'm being disciplined, you automatically have just that word alone, the imagery and the symbolism of that word has been associated with punishment. There is no euphoria in punishment, only trauma. So from there, everything that we feel, if we are habits that are not good to us, are habits that do not naturally generate euphoria, we do not consider them the way that they're supposed to be considered. You feel me? No pain, no gain. That is true. Shout out to Betty Wright. That is a true sentiment. No pain, no gain. However, no joy, no gain either. Pain just happens to rhyme, and joy and pain are opposite sides of the same coin. So if there's no pain, no gain, there equally could be no joy, no pain, no gain. Right? If you're not in the joyful space of what it is that you're doing on a regular basis, you're not going to want to do it. You feel what I'm saying? This is why habitually we can get wrapped up in playing video games and watching and binge watching TV and all of this other shit, because that now triggers euphoria, and we don't know, we're not privy to euphoria as much as we are trauma. You feel me? So now when we take this back to motherfucking passion, passion is when you tie all your feelings together. That's it. That's all passion is. You bringing all of the feelings that you have together to consolidate the balance of, okay, I'm willing to experience both, like this, whatever it is that I'm passionate about, it can elicit both joy and pain in me equally. And I will embrace it. Right? And it's only that when you can be committed to it. You feel me? And from the commitment, you develop the discipline and the consistency with it. You feel me? And I'm going to use both sides of the spectrum, because I don't know if y'all ever beef with anybody. Like, I hope not, because, beef is like, it shouldn't be reserved for, it should be reserved for war. But if you ever been beefing with somebody and it's like, there's a passion there, you hate that motherfucker. You ever been beefing with somebody so much that it's on sight? It's on sight, like, and every time y'all see each other, it's like there's a problem there. That's some habitual shit. To where it doesn't matter what the fuck happens, where we are. It's like when we see each other, it's on, it's up, and it's stuck. That's a habit. That's a routine. That is the foundational piece of routine. I like that example of the routine, because we look at routine so much as, okay, every single day or every single week or every single month. No, routines are on site. Routine is on motherfucking site. And that's what makes it routine, because it doesn't matter what is involved, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get it done. You feel me? And when we looking at, like, say, when it's time to get in shape, working out, it's like, I don't have like, you notice that throughout this whole series, I never use motivation, or I never use inspiration, because these two things are not involved when it comes with passion, commitment, discipline, consistency, routine, and habit. You feel me? You don't need motivation for shit to be on site. Like, that's the motivation. The declaration that this shit is on site means that there's already motivation there. Your motivation and your inspiration is already going to be wired into the passion. That's why it's passion. You feel me? When a motivational speaker just elicits a feeling in you that makes you feel like you can do something. Inspiration elicits a feeling in you. Bypass all that, and that's just passion. When you maintain passion about something, you never have to be motivated or you never have to be inspired to get it done. You feel me? But the mask and the illusion of it comes from you need inspiration, you need motivation. So we go out seeking things that are going to give us motivation, go out seeking things that are going to inspire us. We have to follow certain pages on Instagram. We have to follow certain pages on Twitter. We have to follow certain people on YouTube. We have to watch this video, watch that video. They keep telling you to keep your mindset right. Your mindset will never be right without passion. Therefore, any habits you form will never stick because they will not be planted in the right soil. And they will never be able to make it down to your unconscious mind in order to develop a routine that it's always on site. You feel me? It's always on site. That's what it is to be in a routine of something. That no matter what happens, no matter what the circumstance is, it's going to get done. And it's going to get done at the proficient level of what my habit has developed. I'm going to use this as an example because this is something that's easy to identify. When you watch dancers, they go to rehearsals or whatever the case may be like, you have to have a passion in order to dance. Well, not really. You can hear the beat and move, but I mean, like, as far as being a dancer, these dancers have passion about something. They have passion about movement. They have a passion about choreography. They have a passion about these things. So when it's time to develop the routine, to learn the routine, if you do it over and over again, it's like, notice that when a person is actually learning a dance routine, and I'm even going to use this one, I'm going to do lyricism as well too, but when someone is learning a routine, it starts off emotionless face because I'm learning the movements. But notice as the passion increases for the movements, as the commitment increases to the dance, as the discipline and consistency of constantly doing this dance over and over again and learning this routine develops, you notice they stop dancing. And I mean in the sense of it no longer looks structured, it looks fluid. You can tell that they're not even thinking about what they're doing. They're just doing it. You feel what I'm saying? They're literally just doing it. And they're doing it in such a fluid way that now their face shows the passion. It shows the emotion. It shows the grittiness. It shows the different expressions. It shows that it is now in the unconscious mind and they're not thinking about it. They're now able to feel it. And they're able to feel it in such a way that the routine has already been locked down into them in habit. So they can go years off the end, years down the line and not even think about doing it. But then you can play the music that they dance to, or you can trigger them and say, hey, do this. And they'll be able to get on cue and just knock out the whole routine because they don't have to think about it. You feel what I'm saying? They might have to think because they might be a little rusty. Oh, damn, what step did I do here? What step did I do here? Blah, blah, blah. And then after a while, if they do it enough, it's just like, oh. And then they start making facial expressions and all that shit. That's the power of what it takes to develop a habit. I'm using that as an example to paint the picture. But when you're developing a habit, and you're establishing a routine, that's what it turns into. You feel what I'm saying? That's what it turns into. When I consider lyricism, when you know people that, rappers and shit, if you was like me, you feel me? You was watching The Basement when they had it on BET back in the day. When Friday came around and motherfuckers in the basement flowing and shit. It's like when you watch the people that were just really comfortable in the shit, because it's like the routine of that particular lyric, that the routine of those bars have been so wired into them. Like now they having fun with the shit. You feel me? One of my favorite basement freestyles was when Lil Wayne did this was in his era, bro, and he was on everything killing it. When he was like live from the gotcha, live from the 504. It's Mr. Something, no bungee, no rope. Even in the summer I go. And I don't remember all of it, but it's the joint. Like it was, you can look at his mannerisms and tell that, okay, this is a habit. This is a habit. When people are in that space where they have transcended all of that shit, it becomes a habit. But nobody realizes how habitual something, what it takes to develop something into a habit to make it habitual. Right? as men, a lot of times we get called habitual liars, right? Hey, yo, the reason why I'm laughing so hard is because when I was out here smashing, thrashing, and haberdashing and shit, bro, when I had hoes, when I was like, before I became celibate and got focused on, my brands and my businesses and shit and the business side of life, it was like, I was a habitual liar. I can admit that. I lied to these hoes. But it was never really a lie. I would do shit like withhold the truth, or I would tweak the truth in such a way that it benefited me. But that took practice. That took practice. And I'm going to tell you how it developed, right? And this is another example to show how habits form to where it became into my unconscious mind. It started off because, like, when there was no passion and I just had to practice the shit, it was trying to get a number. Hey, what's your name? Hey, this, that, and the third. But it's like, hey, mom, can I walk? Like, going from punchlines to catchphrases and shit. And pss, pss, what's your name? Like, little shit like that. Over time, it started to develop a passion. And once I got that first number, I became committed to the shit. And then I started to realize I can't tell these hoes the truth if I'm going to get their number. Or I got to tell them the truth in such a way that they don't know I'm lying. You feel me? And then I got to get them to a space where, with time, my charisma, as it started to develop, it became habitual. But I was a habitual liar. You feel me? It wasn't the fact that and again, it wasn't the fact solely that I was actually lying, but the shit was deceptive because I was like, I'm going to get your phone number. I got to do what I got to do to get your phone number. When you've been in the game, you become habitual at it. And it becomes so wired that you know exactly what to say when a woman is saying certain things, how they say. Like, I learned from the big homies, bro. I'm advanced. Well, I was already born ahead of my time on some other shit, but when I started to hang with the big homies and listen to how they were talking to women, what they would say to the women and shit like that, I was using that shit. They're like 7, 8 years older than me, so I'm using that shit on women that are 13 and 14, 15 years old as I'm 13, 14, and 15 years old. By the time I was 15, I was so proficient that, nigga, I was pulling women in their 20s early. You know what I'm saying? On some wild shit, but the habit had formed because there was a passion there. Like, you feel me? The passion came from, getting some pussy. Like pussy is passionate. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is so for a conversation. So y'all shouldn't be listening anyway. Damn it, if they hear. But anyway, pussy is passionate. It's like when you develop a passion for pussy once you start getting it. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the reasons why. And like I say, passion is every feeling that you have, the good and the bad. You feel me? That's why you can tell who wasn't getting pussy back, or who wasn't getting pussy and who couldn't even put in the work to actually get a number to get some pussy back in the day because of how they acting right now. Because how they wilding out right now. Ooh, they didn't like us. They wanted the dudes that was pulling up with the charges and they was doing all of this and the third, and y'all niggas complaining because y'all wasn't in the body count. I never left the body counts, bro. Like, even practicing celibacy, I still get it thrown at me like on a regular, bro, from all kinds of shit. Like, but I played it back because I'm like, nah, I just got it. You feel me? I just got it. And this is why they say, you have men that'll be like, yo, I want to see if I still got it. If it's habitual in you and you once had it, you don't lose it. Trust me, my nigga, you don't lose it. But when you think that you lose it, you knew that you was always being performative. You had never made an extension of yourself. And that's why I said that's so I can segue that into more routine and habit. It has to become an extension of yourself. Like, there's no reason, the only reason that you are doing it is to do it. You know what I'm saying? When you set yourself up for some sort of gratification, it's hard to anchor anything into a habit. You feel me? This is why addiction is so easy, because there's really no reward for addiction. Like, and that's why that's why it's easy to anchor, because you're not doing it for, if I do this, I'm going to get this result. Or if I do this, I'm going to get this reward. If I do this, I'm going to do this particular thing. It's like, I'm doing it because I do it. This is just, quote unquote, who I am or what I want to do. When you start drinking, when you start smoking, when, you start fucking crazy, it becomes an extension of you. And that's where habit forms. You feel me? It can only become an extension of you when you have made an emotional connection to it. This is the side of the mind that they don't want us to understand as men, because no man can tap into his habitual form if he's not able to be emotional. I'm going to say that again. No man can tap into his habitual form if he cannot be emotional. So when they tell us to shut down, oh, men ain't supposed to be emotional. Y'all ain't supposed to be feeling. They only permit us to fuck with anger, rage, and aggression. What do you think our habits are going to revolve around? What do you think our passion is going to be defined? Oh, you're going to play sports because that's where you can unleash your anger. Your habit starts to develop in that. Your routine starts to develop in that. Your consistency, your discipline from the passion that is tied to the feelings that you're able to exhibit of anger, rage, and aggression. When you're able to extend into the platitude and the multitudes of the feelings and that you are able to access, you're able to anchor habits a lot better. You feel what I'm saying? If we look at these red pill conversation guys and shit, and how their passion comes from humiliating women. That shit gets them off. Like, that shit gets them excited. Like, you feel me? Bringing women on to their platforms and shit and telling them off. You know why? Because now I'm giving you everything that was given to me when I wasn't able to be in the game. I was just making a post about this either yesterday, at the time of this recording, either yesterday or, this morning or the day before, something. Shit runs. But I was saying the problem is that most motherfuckers want to glow up but don't want to grow up. You feel me? And they want to glow up under the same habits that made them dim. They want to follow the same routines that made them dim. But they want to glow up with those habits and routines rather than growing up and saying these things don't serve me. You feel what I'm saying? And that's a hard reality. That's a hard reality. That is something that is very difficult to deal with, to face, and to do, because you have to constantly remind yourself every single day that I want to change. The reason why change is so hard is because it's habitual. Because change is breaking a habit. Change is not simply, oh, when you're ready to stop doing something, you'll stop doing something. No, change is breaking a habit. Habits are hard to break. They try to teach you it takes 21 days to develop a habit. It don't. It don't. That's a lie. That's a lie. Alone in the context in which they're saying it. Everybody I know, I've never met a human that has actively put in 21 days of consistent action and still fail from it. Why? Because they're not telling you the missing piece. They're not telling you the missing piece. It's not just 21 days that develops a habit. It's 21 days of an emotional attachment to something that develops the habit. This is why when we in relationships in the beginning, it's like every day I can send this is why women be like, why does the consistency part? Why doesn't the good morning text stop once you, because I'm not passionate about this. We're in a space where we have to learn to love somebody. We have to develop love as opposed to defaulting love from the jump and rising in it. This is why I always talk about, this is why I always tell people, I'm not trying to fall in love again. I've done that one time and I've seen what falling gets me. Now I want to rise in it. And that changed my perspective of it because now my habits are different when I approach relationships. I no longer approach relationships from the perspective of you have to prove and earn my love. No, you have to lose my love now. My reality is different from that. You know what I'm saying? You have to lose the love I have for you. I start off loving everybody. You feel me? I even tell women that I be like, yo, I start off loving people. You don't have to earn my love. You just have to lose it. That's different. I'm not going to tolerate you through your bullshit. You feel me? I'm not going to tolerate you through your bullshit. I am going to put you in a space where you have to lose my love. You don't have to earn it. It's already given to you. You have it. Why? Because you're a fucking human. You deserve to be loved the way, I should be able to not make people have to perform and reward them for my love. No, because if I already love you from the jump, you don't have to perform anymore. Now, when I see that you constantly have to perform and you don't get to be, that's when you're losing it. Because the performance is the process of making sure that I fall in love. But the being is making sure that I rise in it. My perspective of life and living and experience has changed dramatically after healing. You feel me? It has changed dramatically and I see things through a different lens now. Everything is different. But I'm saying that to say because when they want us to, send a good morning text and this, that, and the third, it's like, to tell you what one man won't do, another man will. No, he won't. I don't know who told him that shit. If all of us are the same, then what one man won't do, another will, that's got to be a lie. You see how they be putting their foot in their own mouth, man? They be saying shit that don't even make sense to them, but they make it make sense somehow. Weirdos. But again, This is so Frail conversation, so I could talk shit about y'all if y'all snuck in and listen. But you feel me? When they are in that space where they're talking like that, it's like, yo, you gotta court me. You gotta be chivalrous. You gotta do this. You gotta do that. You gotta do all of this shit. I gotta meet the expectation. Fuck all that. I was just making another post about that. The reason why relationships fail is because women set expectations for men to meet, and then have to meet the expectations. And the goal is for women to reward men with something. What is the something? Some pussy. That's it. I met all these expectations and your pussy was trash. Fuck that. I don't like. Why do men cheat? Because we met expectations and they weren't up to par. Which is, another way of me saying like people cheat when they losing, when they feel like they losing. I met every expectation you set and it wasn't up to par. Like your reward wasn't up to par. I'm a good woman though. I'm loyal. I'm this, that, and the third. It don't mean shit. Your reward was not worth your expectations. But we're habitually programmed for that. And this is why we move on so quick. If it ain't worth it, I'm out. If the reward is not worth the expectations and the shit that the hoops she wants me to jump through, I'm out. This is where we got a problem with simps. This is why simping is such a wrong thing, and people look at simping as a bad thing because they're not realizing that what they're saying about the simp is that you are willing to meet the the unrealistic expectations, and never get the reward, and keep meeting them with the hope that you'll get it. No, the real motherfuckers know. Like if the reward is, and even if the reward isn't worth it, you'll still pretend like it is. It's like, that's habitual programming. That's habitual programming. That's where your habits come in because you have now created an emotional attachment to this shit. You feel me? You created a whole emotional attachment to this shit. So now, when it comes to being wired into the routine, and this is what I was going with this relationship side of it. It's like when you meet that woman that you can rise in love with, that automatically makes the routine of where you are in your life maintain. You don't have to perform. You don't have to deviate. You don't have to start tapping into other shit that ain't you. That's when you find that woman that's fucking with you. We're in a space where it's like, no, I gotta completely deviate. If the women will say, the women are crazy, bro. Some of them are fucking crazy. They'll say shit like, and it's not to be no men versus women wars. This is just the fucking reality. Women say, I need a man who's all about me. Like you gotta put me. I can't make you top priority when the first rule of nature is self-preservation. You feel what I'm saying? But they want you to make them top priority over your own priorities. Use your priorities to make them a priority. That's crazy because they won't even do the same. They will not even do the same. But it's because of how this is the habits and the vibration that we're on. Vibration and habits go hand in hand. You feel what I'm saying? This is why I was talking about that when it came to frequencies and shit. I'm be like, yo, fuck with my frequency. What are your habits? Like I used to look at people that said that, oh, we on the same frequency. No, we not. Our habits are not the same. So we can't be on the same frequency. You feel what I'm saying? This is why I'm glad I did that episode first, and why I'm glad that that episode on the law of vibration even came out. Because people say they want to be on the same frequency but don't want to have the same habits. To have the same habits, we have to really be in a relationship. Relationship. The root word of relationship is to fucking relate. Motherfuckers don't even relate to who they in relationships with. They're complete polar opposites of one another, and they having sex. That's it. You feel me? Rather than being in a space where I understand this person and I like this person because I relate to this motherfucker. Why do I relate to this motherfucker? Because we are on the same frequency. Why are we on the same frequency? Because we have the same habits. Workplace romance is not an accident. It works because we're in the same frequency, literally. We have the same habits, literally, at least for the first 8 hours of our shift, at least for 8 hours out of the day. There's 24. Now let me break this down to show why cheating works the way it works. I'm not condoning it. I'm not condemning it. I'm just giving the expression of why it happens the way it is, especially in the workplace. 9 times out of 10, somebody's gonna cheat on you with somebody that they work with. You feel what I'm saying? Taking it back to school, if you wanna go back to how we were in school, 9 times out of 10, the person that you flirted with, it was somebody who was in your classroom. The more classes y'all had, the closer y'all got together. Same shit will work. The motherfucker that you spending 8 hours a day with, y'all have the same habits. Literally, y'all are on the same frequency and y'all share the same habits for at least 8 hours a day. If you work a 9 to 5, y'all are both going through traffic around the same time to get there by 9 o'clock. Y'all are going to clock in. Y'all are going to eat lunch around the same time. Y'all are going to run through the same projects, do the same work. By 5 o'clock, you're going to clock out. You're going to go home. You're going to go to do traffic. You're going to have the same frequency. You're sitting in traffic for the same. Y'all live in the same city. Like for 8 hours a day, y'all have the same habits. And we wonder why it's like, yo, how is it so easy? Because, nigga, we share the same shit. Every day we gonna talk about the same conversations. Your work is my work. Your situations are my situations. Everything is roughly about the same. And here we are in a relationship with a motherfucker who works second shift when we work first. We work in healthcare. They work in law. You feel what I'm saying? You feel what I'm saying? Like, it's certain shit that is already programmed not to work. We don't even have the same habits. But instead, ask you what your interests are. What are you interested in? How are you going to tell me what you're interested in when you don't even like yourself? Now, when you tell me what your interests are, I have to force myself to like your interest. As opposed to, yo, let's align to the interests we already relate to. My habits already told me that I fuck with this type of environment. My habits already told me that I fuck with this type of vibe. Why the fuck am I going somewhere else to try to find that vibe? This is what I be telling you. I need y'all to listen up real quick. Huddle up, brosies. When y'all are out here trying to find bad bitches in the club, no, I'm gonna say it like this. Y'all are out here trying to find homebodies in the club. I want a woman who's gonna stay home and this, that, and the third. Are you staying home? No, you're not. You're in the club looking for somebody that you can stay home with. What? That don't make no fucking sense. You not even aligned with the shit that you want to be aligned with. You feel what I'm saying? That's a level of control that we have to address at another time. That's not the context of this conversation, I don't think, unless it decides to come out of me. When you are looking for that, you want that homebody. Are you at home all the time? What the fuck are you doing when you're home? Are you reading? Are you playing video games? What is it that you're doing that would classify and make you the homebody that you need a homebody for? Because now you had to say, what habits do I have that make me a homebody? What routines do I already have in place that make me a homebody? So when I go out, I can find that homebody who's already doing the shit that I'm doing. Shit ain't hard. If you a gamer, why the fuck are you not meeting somebody in GameStop? Why the fuck are you not if you enjoy anime, why the fuck are you not meeting somebody who's, well, because everybody don't do this shit. But let's say this. You are somebody who likes cosplaying. Why the fuck are you not going and meeting somebody at Comic-Con? The fuck? Why are you not at? Cause man, Comic-Con lame, man. I don't even want. I like anime, but I ain't gonna. But you want a chick? You're gonna right now. You're gonna go on Instagram and you're gonna see that bad chick that dresses in fucking Chun-Li outfits and shit, and you gonna double tap her shit and you gonna like her, and you gonna think it's cause she bad and she thick or whatever the case may be. No, you like her cause she cosplaying. You like cosplay shit, but you won't go cosplay. And you won't go meet somebody who cosplays because that's something that is buried in the deep of your mind that you want to do, that you just never made it a habit because you can't exhibit those particular habits around the people that you grew up with. You feel me? There's a programming that shows you there's habits that you can't exhibit. There's a habitual habit that you can't be habitual. And I know it seems contradictory, but there's things that you want to be a habit that can't be a habit and you have to suppress because you are not tied to them. So we look at this shit and we like, yo, I want a chick that's going to be a homebody that just want to stay in the house, but I got one that always want to go out. Where did you meet her? I was out. Oh, this was a time when you want people to, not only do we want people to have the same habits we have without knowing it, we want people to align with our habits the moment we say we're doing certain shit. I'm going to go to, like, literally think how stupid this sounds, bro. I'm not even going to say it's insane or ignorant. It's stupid. You want to go and meet a woman that's going to always be home and you want to go meet her in the club. No, those type of women, you have to go to TJ Maxx, you have to go to Marshalls, you have to go to Ross, you have to go to Target, you have to go certain places to get them. Now, chances are, when you're in those places, you're not going to see them. A high percentage of them, you're not going to see them like you seen them in a club, like you think you're going to see them in a club. You got a mental deficit when you're trying to find somebody who embodies what you don't want, while wanting what you don't want. Like, how can I explain this shit? Because this shit sounds so stupid right now. You're trying to find somebody who meets the image but doesn't have the persona for it. You see what I'm saying? Y'all want bad bitches that are homebodies. The shit don't mix. Bad bitches have to be active. Like, that's what makes them bad bitches. They have to be active. They have to be seen. They always have to be in the know. They always have to be out, showing themselves off, looking for attention, sinking and screaming and drinking margaritas and fucking thought juice. That's what bad bitches do. I'm not trying to be derogatory towards them. I'm just saying that's what bad bitches do. They're not homebodies. They're not homebodies. They won't come into the crib until 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. But where will you meet them at? You'll find them at Waffle House. You'll find them in the club. If you want a bad bitch, go where bad bitches go. But you got to be ready for everything, the habits and the lifestyles that comes with a bad bitch, because after habit comes lifestyle. You feel what I'm saying? This is why I tell people, when they say it takes 21 days to develop a habit, it don't. It takes 21 days of routine through passion to develop a habit. And that compounds now is going to take that to develop into the lifestyle. But you have to have passion with it first. We ain't got no motherfucking passion with half the shit that we trying to be habitual with. But we're oblivious to the very things that we're habitual with. Motherfucker be like, yo, this is just the way I am. No, there's a passion tied to that. That's what makes you act. That's why you act the way you act. That's why you are the way you are. People be thinking they're acting and they're not. They're just being. So it's like I got to perform a certain way until I get to a point where I don't have to perform anymore. Now I get to just be myself. Women love to say that shit. I want to be in a space where I get to just be myself. So you're not yourself now? Who the fuck are? Why the fuck am I even fucking with you? You feel what I'm saying? Here's my thing. When it comes to me and how I develop and like, I only go where I go. If you bad and you where I'm at, chances are I can get your number. I'm gonna tell y'all a quick secret, bro, and this goes back into the habitual shit that I planned. And my homies used to say, bro, how you always get every number? Because I'm like, bro, I only get numbers where I'm comfortable. I don't holler at chicks. I never got numbers in a club. I never got numbers in places where I was there for the ambiance. I only got numbers in the places that I was really supposed to be. I exchanged numbers with women in classrooms, like libraries, fucking grocery stores, places that I know that I'm going to go. Not only just specifically in grocery stores, but in certain sections of the grocery store. Because that's where I'm supposed to be. So I know that when I'm doing this and I'm dressed a certain way, I'm looking a certain way, whenever I got numbers, I was always comfortable. I was never performative. I was never in that space, but it was solely because I knew where I needed to be. I knew where I needed to go to get who I was looking for. You feel me? I'm likely, if I'm going to pull a chick in a bookstore, it's just not because she's reading books. Are we in the same section of books? Are you over there in the occult side by the astrology, the tarot, the esoteric shit, and all that, like the mysticisms and shit like that? Chances are I will get your number. I can start a conversation with that. You feel me? But if you're looking at Bibles, that conversation that I start, it ain't gonna end well. So there's no point in me even trying to approach you. You feel me? People get in relationships and shit these days and they want to change the person instead of enhancing what the person really is. You know what I'm saying? And that comes from the habits that they're refusing to break. I know my habits. I know my routines. I know what the fuck I am. If I'm looking at a woman and it's like, if we're talking and it's like, yo, are you into trading and investing? Nah, I can't stand it. You're not going to stand me. So let's not even, you know what I'm saying? Listen to what a motherfucker tells you and how they address your habits. Like motherfuckers be like, yo, I can't tolerate that. I no longer live in the space where I tolerate relationships, where I tolerate women. I no longer live in that space. But we're wired and programmed to believe that that's what love is. You feel me? That's not unconditional love. There's no such thing as unconditional love. Love has conditions on it. Period. Fuck when anybody tries to tell you love has conditions on it. All real love has conditions on it. That's why you can cut a motherfucker off after a while. But what they calling unconditional love is just extreme tolerance. I'm going to tolerate you because of this. Nah, true love is the power for betterment through correction. I should see what you are and say, I like that. I'm going to enhance that. I'm going to help that person enhance. But you got to be able to do that in yourself first. That's where your habits and your habituality comes in. Because now when I talk about, I'm glad I said love and we piggybacking off of passion and we developing routine. I'm going to eventually get to talking about routine, but right now this is just what's flowing through me. When you love something, it's the power for betterment through correction. But until you love it, you have to have that feeling. You have to develop that passion to even want to improve it. If you don't want to improve something, if the feelings that you have for something don't inspire you to improve it, they'll inspire you to destroy it. And you will develop the routines and you will develop the habits necessary to destroy it rather than build it. Hey bro, for real though, at some point we gotta stop talking to women about masculinity and start talking to each other about it. And I mean really talk to each other. Not as enablers and co-signers, but as men trying to reach the pinnacle of our essence. And that's what the So Frail series does. So Frail 1 is the definition. So Frail 2 is the acknowledgement. And So Frail 3 is the resolution. If you rock with the So Frail conversations, I can guarantee you will rock with the So Frail series of books. So visit IamJustSaying.com right now so you can add the series to your library. I promise you will never look at masculinity the same again, and you're going to stop wasting your time arguing with women about it. This is a conversation that men need to have between men, and it's time we start having this conversation now. Now, if we go back in, go from passion, it's all of the feelings, and now we tie the chakras into this shit, in addition to the law of vibration. When you tie the chakras into the shit, you go sacral, solar plexus, and the heart chakra. That's literally feelings, joy, feelings, emotions, and love. Love is a power. It is not a feeling. And then you have love and hate or whatever the case may be. But until you have the passion for something, you cannot put your identity to it. That's another additional piece of habit. That's how it's able to go into your unconscious mind, because it now goes into your identity. This is why it's very, very important that you watch what you say when you say I am or my this. When you take ownership over certain actions and you take and you embody certain actions as yourself, that's a lot of the fuel that helps your routine. You feel what I'm saying? I want to go to the gym as opposed to I'm a person who works out in a gym. That plants a certain seed within you. You see yourself a different way. I got to do this workout. I am this workout. This is my workout. I don't work out this way. I work out this way. But I am this workout. I am in shape. I am healthy. But then when you constantly have to tell yourself, I have to, now you're creating your habits as a to-do list, as opposed to an extension of yourself, which what they really are. The very things that you do that are habitual to you are the things that are extensions of you. Like, you know what I'm saying? This comes into even having to know yourself. You have to know yourself enough to wire the passion to the things that you do to create habits and routines. So that way you can do shit when you're not thinking about it. It's like, yo, this is what I really want to do. This is what I love to do. This is what I like to do. Now, when it ties into the love, I have to improve myself daily if I really love myself in this shit. And that's where, from the consistency and the discipline, now you have to, I love what I do. I loved what I do enough to make it a routine and a habit. Motherfuckers try to say they love their job. Nigga, don't love your job. You don't love your job. You love the idea. But if you truly loved your job and you're not moving up, getting promoted on a regular basis, going to the next level, you don't love your job. Because there's no betterment there. You tolerate your job because that's how you feel love is. But you're still in a habitual state. You're waking up in the morning, going to clock in, doing the same consistent job every day. Like that's your routine now. But now you have disdain for it. And passion can fluctuate at any given time because, when you first start your job, you love it. Then once you start to experience the job, that's how you affect the passion. Is the experience actually benefiting me in any way? Because it's going to make me want to stay. When I had all my workplace romances and shit, I ain't never really, let me not say that. I did smash a couple people I work with. Okay. Pre-celibacy, I smashed a lot of coworkers. But after I became celibate, I didn't smash coworkers anymore. Like, we really became friends and shit. But it's like, why are you always flirting? I don't be trying to flirt. I'm in habit mode. We're in the same habit, so we like each other. We like each other because we like what we do and we do the same shit. That's it. We're in the same space and we like what we do when we do the same shit. So when I get off work or whatever the case may be, and now I got to tell, like, this is why I can only tell my significant other and shit when I get home the bad shit that happened at work. I can't tell you the good shit because I already shared that with the good motherfucker that was there. And when I share the good shit to you, you don't get it. You feel what I'm saying? When we are in relationships where when we're sharing the passionate the shit that we're actually passionate about, this is why relationships end in a decline and you fall in love. Because your connection is not off of what you relate to. It's off the opposite. They tell you opposites attract instead of, it's weird. Opposites attract in relationships. How do you relate to an opposite? You don't. You don't. But now we're in relationships with opposites and we're trying to explain some oppositional shit and they don't get it. I'm just not into that. I had a girlfriend one time that got mad that I took my best friend at the time, one of my best friends and shit, to a comedy show. And like, for one, we're in college. The ticket, everybody got tickets and we friends. Like, you just go. It's like you've already paid for it. They've already booked it. You just pull the fuck up and go. So I'm like, I want to go to this comedy show. She says, I don't like comedy shows. Nigga, okay. I went with her friend, which was my friend, the friend that actually hooked us up together. So I'm on some shit like, I figured it was okay. I wanted to go to the comedy show. You didn't want to go. You don't like comedy shows. But then I started to realize, why am I fucking with you? I love comedy shows. I love to laugh. And you don't? So now I got to tell you about this comedy show. I don't get the joke. Damn, what the fuck? We don't relate. We're opposites. We're opposites. If we're attracted to each other and we're fucking neutralizing each other and we're falling in love. That's crazy. That's crazy, but it's a routine. Now we fall into a routine. When women say shit like, oh, it just becomes so boring. Women will tell you that shit gets boring when there's routine because you are in a routine with an opposite situation. You, on the other hand, are chilling because it's like, yo, this is what I always do. Like, this is what I always do. I met your expectations and I got you. The fuck? We used to go out and do this. We used to go out and do this. We used to go out and do this. I used to do all of the shit that you needed me to do so I can meet your expectation. Now I don't have to do them. I already got the expectation. I already got the reward for the expectation. Now I get to be, and now you see the routine and the habits that I really have. Which in turn can bring out the other habits that you're not supposed to be exhibiting. I'm not saying blame women for the habits that come out. No, this is a relationship thing. When you are in this space, when you relate to your opposite, only the opposite shit can be brought out of you. Motherfuckers wonder why they start losing themselves. Oh, this person's toxic. This isn't a toxic person. You two have habits that are in opposition to each other. It seems toxic. It seems like it's toxicity and shit. It seems like this person is an asshole, a narcissist, whatever the fuck motherfuckers want to say and call it. That's not what this really is. It's two motherfuckers who are relating oppositionally. What the fuck you think is going to come of your relationship? Opposition. It's no mystery. Can we stop having the black woman versus the black man conversation and shit like that? No, nigga, we're in opposition. Our relationships are built to be in opposition with each other. They ain't meant to be built collaboratively. And we damn sure don't collaborate anyway because you can only collaborate with the motherfucker you relate to. And in relation, it comes into the habits that you have on a regular basis, the routines that you set on a regular basis, what it is that you're consistent and disciplined with on a regular basis. So now when it comes to routine, now I can like really dive into, routine and habit for real, because I feel like I set a good tone. When it comes to routine, it's not hard to maintain. We get so busy trying to get wrapped up in the numbers and, okay, if I make my schedule and every day at 8 o'clock I do this, every day at 9 o'clock I do this, every day, like, you can't be robotic with your routine. Your routine has nothing to do with the schedule. It has nothing to do with a calendar. It has everything to do with what you feel. Now I know it's like, well, I thought you said you can't be motivated and inspired. That's the thing. You have to bypass that because it has to already be wired to your feeling. Nothing should be able to elicit the feeling. You should be able to elicit the feeling within yourself, or the feeling should never die for it. You feel me? Not a horn tutor or no shit like that, but I got passion and I love talking. I love not only talking, I love talking, teaching, and delivering messages. I love putting words together. I love giving words out. I have a passion for that shit. So the routine of, yo, let me record it this time. Let me record it this time. Let me post and drop it this time. That's there. I don't have to think about the routine. If anything, if I don't follow the routine and I don't do it on the time that I said I was going to do it, I'm off. I feel like it's, you know how, and this is how I can tie it to addiction, like I said, because when it's something that you really want to do, like it'll nag you. It'll be like you fiending. Like I smoke cigars and shit. So when you don't have, and I know a couple episodes ago, and I said I was working on quitting. I was doing good. I was doing good. Addiction, my nigga, it's a motherfucker. That nicotine, a motherfucker. But I'm working. I'm working on it because I'm developing other routines in the process. I had routines in place that allowed me to smoke cigars, and I picked them up at a time when certain things happened. There was a passion that got ignited there that I had to kill and all of that shit. The point is, and I'm gonna get to that when I talk about the other side of habits and routines, which is addictions and shit. But anyway, when it comes to where was I at? So the routine of getting the episodes done and everything, I think that's where I was talking about because I just kind of got off. But when it's in you, when it's in you already, you don't have to think about doing it. That's what I was talking about, nicking. So when that feeling that I get when I haven't had a cigar or I haven't had, tobacco, it's like, damn, I gotta smoke. Damn, I gotta smoke. I get anxious and shit like that. That same feeling I get when I'm not in my routine. That's the same feeling you get when you're not in your routine because routine is just a positive addiction. It's a habit. It's a habit. Why? Because there's passion to it. If you have consistently tied passion to working out and being effective when you're not in the gym, you start fiending. The same response that a crackhead gets. Not on no funny shit. I'm not calling you a crackhead because I'm using it in a healthier perspective. The same feeling that you get when you have not hit the gym that day, or when you know you're gonna miss the gym, or when something like that feeling, that's the same feeling a crackhead gets when they need to hit. That's the same feeling somebody who smokes gets when they need and the reason why I know this is because this is one of the things that I kind of love and despise about my life is like I've always experienced both dualities of shit. So when I see the same shit happen, it's like, oh, it's antithesis, bro. This is what I be telling y'all about analysis and deconstruction, bro. When you start to learn from an antithesis, I'm not telling y'all to go develop an addiction. Do not smoke cigars. Do not smoke if you don't smoke. Don't go smoke crack. Please don't go smoke crack. You can't get off that. That's different. But what I'm saying is, when you start to feel the extremes, it's like when there's the positive things in my life that I know when I'm off routine, they attack me the same way that an addiction attacks me. Like I can't stop thinking about it. My mind doesn't go off of it. I keep saying, oh, I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do this. I start to get that same anxiety, those same feelings. That's because there is a habit there. And there is a passion tied to what I have. And I have been consistent. I have been disciplined enough to develop a routine to where it's in my unconscious mind. So when I am actively not doing that thing at a particular time, or I'm not doing that thing when I'm supposed to be doing it, my mind will go off on it. You know when you're actually developing and you have a solid routine when you start fiending when you're not doing it. Like Jodeci and shit, like I got me fiending. Like, no, I ain't talking about that shit. But I am talking about that shit. When anything can make you fiend for it, that's when it has become a routine in your life. The problem is we don't have routines that we fiend for because we don't have much that is positive in our lives. We have not rooted anything into our lives that is positive. So much so that when you're told if you skip the gym today, it's okay. It's okay. You'll be all right. Somebody will encourage you to go against your routine, but never encourage you to go against your addiction. You feel what I'm saying? You got fat motherfuckers, and I'm not saying fat motherfuckers like I'm trying to shit on them, but it's just how I talk. You got fat motherfuckers who aren't really hungry when they eat excessively. They're addicted to food. There's a routine that whenever I do this right here is what the response is supposed to be. And they have got locked into that routine, and they don't have a high or efficient enough of metabolism to offset that routine and that addiction. Because these two things are the same thing. This is one of the reasons why I said routine does not fit to a schedule, especially not an actual schedule that fits within a time pocket. It fits within whenever you know you're supposed to be doing it. And when you get that feeling like I should be doing this, I should be doing it. This is why you can write something on a list and forget it because there's no passion to it. But you cannot forget to do something when it starts to nag you. You're fiending. That is the equivalent feeling of fiending. I can't. If you've never had a negative addiction and you've never had a solid routine, you will never make the connection that these two things feel the same. Because as I said, if I'm not like that year that I took off from the podcast from last year, bruh, I felt the same way. Matter of fact, I started smoking more because of that. And I never attributed the two. It was until I actually sat back and was like, Because now that I started podcasting again, I started making music again, I smoke less. And I'm like, and I had to sit back and look at it. I'm like, these two things feel the same. When I feel like I got to smoke, my body starts twitching, it starts jittering, and I get anxious. My legs start tapping, and then my mind starts going, should I get it? That same feeling is like, yo, I got to do this podcast. All right, this podcast episode got to be done. I got to knock this out. All right, I got to record. What am I going to talk about? Like, these things came up the same way, that feeling, what it does to my nerve. Now, here's what I mean by feeling. The way in which my nervous system responds to routine is the exact same way my nervous system responds to addiction. The way your nervous system responds to addiction is the exact same way it's going to respond to routine because it's the same shit. Because our habits and our addictions are just opposite sides of the same coin. Our habits, the very things that we do or don't, like if you didn't brush your teeth this morning, that is something that is habitually wired within you. If you didn't brush your teeth and it's like you would feel that. It's deeper than just thinking about, oh, damn, I forgot to brush my teeth. Your body starts to feel it. Because it's something that is routine within you. It is something that has a passion tied to it. It's something that you have committed to already. It's something that you're disciplined and consistent with. That's how it became a routine. When they say, how do we become, and this is the dark side of the habits. Because now we don't even need to necessarily call them habits in the context. Well, we don't necessarily need to call it addiction. We're going to use habits solely from a non-binary way, both negative and positive, right? Because it's now we're aware that our habits can't develop until we have passion. Passion is when all you're feeling like this is how motherfuckers can become alcoholics so easily. Because when we start drinking, most of our addictions that we develop started as an attempt to have a good time, to feel good. And we started feeling good in the moment, but we never realized that passion comes with also feeling bad. So when you stressing, when you angry, whenever like you go to your habits, naturally, you go to your habits. And if my habits say, when I'm this, I go smoke. My habits say when I was in college, and like I said, when I was smoking with somebody, I was smoking recreationally. I had no addiction at the time. This wasn't it developed into my habit, but it became habitual, not in a negative context. I know it's like, bro, you were smoking weed all the time because I would go smoke consistently at 7:00, right? And then I would go study. I knew there was just a medium in between it until it became I had to do that to go study. And it's like, why do you need it's because I developed this into a habit because of the buffer and the thing in between. There's a book called The Power of Habit, and it teaches you that you can't change the cue and the reward, but you can change the routine in the middle. You dig what I'm saying? Because there's passion tied to it. The way it's going to make you feel is the way it's going to make you feel, regardless. You feel me? Now, the feeling that you get that makes it a habit is what you can't change. What you can do is this why they say, okay, instead of smoking, like when you want to quit smoking, get Jolly Ranchers or sunflower seeds and all. No, you're not going to do that because, the reason why that doesn't work is because you don't have passion for sunflower seeds. You don't have passion for candy. You have passion for smoking because of the feeling that it gives you. Because it bypasses all, it's intertwined to every feeling that you have, whether you're feeling good, whether you're feeling bad, whether you're feeling high, whether you're feeling low, you're going to smoke. And I'm not saying you as in, you're a smoker. I'm using that as an example. For one, because I smoke. And for two, it's tied into the habit side. And I'm using it as the negative side for addiction. Same with drinking. You feel me? You have a passion for drinking and won't admit it. I think that's when we really want to start changing our habits, we have to realize where we're passionate about certain things. I have a passion for this. That's why I can't stop. I have a passion for this. That's why I won't stop doing it. I don't realize it's a passion, and that passion leads me to being committed to it. Like all of this shit, commitment, discipline, and consistency are all wired into the unconscious mind to develop the routine. You don't think about this shit. It's autonomous. You do it. And the reason why you do it and you do it so well and you do it so much is because the habit is there. This is what habits is. I'm like, you need to change your daily habits. What are your daily habits? You think your daily habits are some shit that you can put on a piece of paper? You can't write this shit down. You can't write this shit. This has to be a rewiring within you. You have to literally stop being passionate about something. In order to truly change or even develop habits, to change a habit, you have to stop being passionate about what's habitually in your life. In order to start a habit, you have to develop a passion for it. You know how hard it is to develop a passion when you're taught that you're not supposed to feel? You have to go through something where you're willing to be open enough to feel every ray of emotion about it, every feeling possible about it. That's the only way you can walk into developing a habit. When you can consistently do this, when you get to the point where it's habitual, it now bypasses the conscious and subconscious thoughts of the mind and hits the unconscious. You will do this regardless because there's passion there. And then from passion, I can now develop my commitment to it. I got to feel for it before I even say, yo, I fucks with this. I fucks with this. And even if when you start feeling for something, you never feel bad for it first. You know what I'm saying? First thing you do is you feel good for it. By feeling, this is how it's going to start. By feeling good, you have to be willing to accept that however great I feel for this, I can feel bad about it. T.I. said he was saying a quote on one of his podcasts. He was on somebody's podcast. He said, if you live for the cheers, you're going to die by the booze. Right? That's how passion is established. When you understand that you're living for the booze, for the cheers, and you anticipate that the booze can come, that's when passion comes in because you're prepared for all feelings that come with that. The thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. In So Frail 3, I want to say it's on the Netzach sphere where I'm talking about victory, the victim and the victor, right? A lot of those places in the tree of life in that regard is where your habits form. People be thinking, oh, they have a victim mentality. No, they're habitually a victim. They're losers. I don't even want to use victor and victim like losing and winning. Those are habits. Losing is not an accident. Like you habitually do shit to lose. And I know people say, oh, you can't say that about people. No, if you're a loser habitually. You don't just lose at one thing. You lose at everything you do. If you're a winner, you're winning at everything you do because it's a habit. It's a habit. When I was in college, I knew people that would just say C's to get degrees. C's were not good enough for me. If I ended up with a C after putting in the necessary habits to receive an A, you feel me? And I received a C, I would be mad. I would be highly mad. I would be highly upset. You feel me? However, if I got a C and I know the habit wasn't there, I had no passion. Like, I don't give a fuck about that shit. It was what it was. When I don't have passion in something, I don't lock in. So the point that I was saying with that was like, when you get to that sphere of the tree of life and you start to see, oh, to be a winner is something that, yeah, you have to develop passion in order to win, which means you have to equally be willing to lose. And deeper than that, you transcend a point where it's deeper than just being willing to lose. You have to know how to lose in order to win. You have to know how to win in order to lose. I'm going to say that again. People be thinking that losing and winning is some happenstance. No, you have to know how to win in order to lose, and you have to know how to lose in order to win. Case in point, if you've ever watched The Longest Yard, Adam Sandler, what they say, he was shaving points. He went to jail because he was shaving points or whatever the case may be. Cost motherfuckers that was betting money and shit or whatever. He knew how to win as a quarterback. That's how he was able to shave the points. You see what I'm saying? I told y'all, we're in a space now where we're transcending these mediocre conversations, these bullshit ass conversations now. We're going into the real conversations that's like, yo, this, you see, when you run a law of vibration for winning, you win. Because you know that when I'm vibrating into this space, I now create the necessary habits to win. So by winning, by being a winner, I understand loss. To win, you have to understand loss. To lose, you also have to understand win. When you don't understand winning, you assume somebody cheated. I remember I was in like the second grade and we was playing kickball. And this dude named Melvin, I don't know why I never forget his name. The reason why I never forget him is because he couldn't say cheater. He had a list, so he would say sheeter. So we was playing kickball. It was my class against his class and shit. And my teacher, cause she's like, my class is winning. I don't care what y'all say. My class is winning. She said, this is how you set it up. She said, you go kicker, kicker, grand slam, kicker, 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 3 kickers, and then a grand slam kicker after that. You do 3 kickers and then a grand slam kicker. She said, if you play it like that, you'll score more points. So we took the strategy and we did it. We lined up kicker, kicker, grand slam, kicker, 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 grand slam, kicker. And it's like we whooped their ass. And as we whooped he's like, y'all cheated. No, you lost. No, y'all cheated. No, you lost. No, we weren't supposed to lose. And because y'all won, y'all cheated because we don't understand why y'all won. We don't get that. Oh, we just put some kids in line and just whoever's neck kick. No, we don't know that y'all had a system that made sure that every time a grand slam kicker kicked, there was guaranteed to get at least 2 people to score. Because if the first 3 kickers made it to where they were supposed to get base by base, all we had to do was get you to 1 base. So if you just a regular kicker, you can get to the first base. And if you get to the first base, then that means you can get to the second base and somebody can get to the first. It was a whole logical situation. And then when the grand slam kicker came in that can kick the shit and get you the home run, that's now 4 points. So we was whooping their ass because of that. Because they had no system with it. Because we knew how to win. Because our teacher knew how they were going to lose. You see what I'm saying? So those things became habits. I mean, we only played kickball that one time. But that shit, that system and that mentality, it was like, you have to know how to win. Winning isn't something that is an accident. You have to be a winner. You have to be a loser too. When you see people that are just, and I'm not talking about because you lost like material shit. You feel me? You know, like winners lose material shit all day long, but they're still winners. There's people that have lost everything but still bounce back. There's people that have lost everything and never bounce back. And as unfortunate it is, that's still a loser. You feel what I'm saying? They have no habits of winning. They have habits of being rewarded. And when there are no more rewards, their habits still function under being rewarded. And I can't be rewarded anymore. This is why a lot of men suffer in silence. But this is why a lot of men suffer at certain things in life, is because you have to earn respect. Which means everything you do is about having to be like, you have to earn your rewards, and that makes you think you're a winner. That makes you think you have winning habits just because you win. This is something that I talk about in Frail 3. You can have alchemical moments and still not be an alchemist. You can actually be an alchemist and never have an alchemical moment. You feel what I'm saying? Because it's about the habits that you, well, no, let me not say that, because you can't. You can't be an alchemist and not have alchemical moments. What I'm saying, let me say that over. You can have alchemical moments and not be an alchemist. I'm going to leave it at that part, because you have people that will, and that's where the habit comes in. That's where the routine comes in. That's where ritual comes in. That's where certain things come in to where you do this consistently every single day. You do this every moment of your life. It's non-negotiable. And if you're not doing it, you fiending for it. When people are able to actually win, it's because winning is a habit for them. Stunting is a habit. Put it in the air. Have you ever seen a Chevy with the butterfly doors? My nigga. Stunting is a habit because habit is something that is wired within you to do. And I only use stunting as a habit because it's like when you see people shine, it's like this person, dude, what work on their back, on the backside are they doing that you're not seeing? And this is where it comes to the reward side of it. A lot of people just want the reward and the result of what somebody else did, but they don't want the habit that led to that. Because the habit has to be tied to something. And it has to be at a space where you're willing to endure and feel every range of emotion to develop both aspects of being a winner and a loser. When it comes to trading and investing, I'm habitual with it. Like it's a habit. If I don't trade, I get like, yo, nigga, I gotta get these charts. I gotta get to the charts today. You feel me? Because it's a part of my lifestyle now. It's not something that I just want to do. I'm habitual with trading and investing. Every day I gotta correlate my charts. Every day I gotta see which pair is gonna do, which is gonna go on where it started from, where it ended at. Is there gonna be a problem area that I gotta deal with? Every day I gotta do this shit. Every single day. And if I don't do it, I feel a certain way. I feel a certain way. And it's like, that's because it's an addiction. It's not an addiction, it's a habit. It's a habit. I have passion tied to this shit. Now, when people try to downplay what you do that is habitual for you, they make it seem as if it's a habit. You know, it's a problem. No, it's not. It's my lifestyle. This is how lifestyles are supposed to work. Like, you know what I'm saying? Lifestyles are habitual. So if you see me doing the same thing every day, that means that's because it's my lifestyle. You feel what I'm saying? But in developing this lifestyle, I had to develop a passion and be prepared for both winning and losing. So much so, in being prepared for winning and losing, I had to know how to win just as equally as I had to know how to lose. And in Forex, crypto, stocks, whatever, there's far more ways to lose than there is to win. When you figure out all the ways to lose, all that's left is winning. You can look at the chart and say, this is not going to go in my favor. You can look at a chart, an investment, a play, and say, this is not going to go in my favor. Oh, this is the play that I need to take because you have established the habits necessary to develop the passion, to establish the commitment, to establish the discipline and the consistency, to develop the routine necessary to win or lose. Now we're cooking to the next side of habits. Wins and losses, that's all there is. You hear me always talk about life is divided into benefit and detriment. That's it. Your wins and losses. And neither one of them are accidents. They're results. When you get to a space where you realize that habit is based solely on benefit and detriment and or wins and losses, that's when you are truly able to say, my habits are beneficial for me. My habits are detrimental for me. The shit that I do will lead to this shit. And that's what a lot of people don't get. When I was young, I used to hear all the time, if you run these streets, only place that you're going to end up is dead or in jail. Nigga, that's the result of those habits. Like, that's not prophecy. That's not some prophetic vision or no shit like that. No, that's the result of those habits. Because time and time again, the law of vibration, you can't break universal laws. You cannot break universal laws. They are going to happen, and they are going to happen 100% of the time. And you're going to see exactly what was supposed to happen 100% of the time. So if 100% of the time, anybody who runs, like, it's not even 100%. I got to say, the laws work 100% of the time, but the results, either dead or in jail, or you get out of the game before that. You feel what I'm saying? You get out of the game. Like, don't nobody go unscratched from the shit. You lose something. You feel me? You're gonna lose something in that game when you play it. But it's the result. It's the habits. Now your habit is what you pack. Like niggas want to be street niggas. I want to be the realest nigga out. So you're now committed to being the realest nigga out. I want to be a trapper. You ain't trapping, kill yourself. We trap or die, nigga. Now you're gonna be disciplined and committed to it, and you're gonna be disciplined and consistent to it. And now it's the routine. This is a habit. You're going to wake up every day and hit the block. Because there's a passion there. There's some sort of passion there that has wired you to it, that have made it an unconscious thing. You don't even think about it. You just do it. You feel me? You just do it. And I use the street shit because we often, we love to talk about street shit, even if we ain't street. Shit weird, bro. And that's one of the things that sucks about, people that ain't from certain areas, and they are like, you don't have the passion that it's going to take to develop any habits to survive here. You can talk that shit. Oh, I want to, like, I'm a hood nigga, I'm street, but I grew up. No, you're not. If you grew up in the suburbs, you are not street. You are suburban. Respect that. I don't give a fuck if you're once, like, I was looking at this post and it was talking about how, what the term once removed was. It's like, you can be born of you're born of the next generation, basically. So that could be like your first cousin once removed, which means that's like your your parents' first cousin, but you're the generation after that. You're once removed from the streets. Just because your parents grew up in the shit, you're not that. Your parents had to develop habits in order to survive in that area. Habits you didn't have to have. When I have kids and shit, no matter how much street essence I have, no matter how much street essence their mother may have, or whatever the case may be, but no matter how much my lingo infuses into them, they'll never have it. They'll never have it. You'll never have the habits that I had. You know what I'm saying? You will never have the habits that I had. You will never have the passion that required me to develop the necessary habits to survive in that area. To survive in that mentality. To survive that shit. But motherfuckers want to come in here and do the shit because motherfuckers think habits really take 21 days. They don't. Because you got to think about it like this. If we're going to talk about the mind, your routines and your habits, they sit at the unconscious level of the mind. You really think it's going to take 21 days for belief to get through belief, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Conscious, subconscious, and unconscious mind, and emotional and thought. Like, that's the full capacity of the mind. Not only that, you have both past and present. Past and future. Sorry, hindsight and foresight. That's the entire mind. You really think 21 days will be enough to develop a habit? No, that's why niggas fail. That's why niggas they struggle making habits. Because they don't know what it takes to actually develop a habit. I just gave you the cheat code to actually sit and develop what you really want to develop a habit into. First, get the shit out of your mind. If I could just do this consistently for 21 days. If you do this consistently for 21 days, but every day you complain about the shit, guess what's not going to take root? That fucking habit. Ooh, I got to get through. It's hard. It's hard. Your mind is already wired to avoid hard things. Your mind is already wired to avoid difficult things. When your mind is already telling you that it's hard and it's difficult, and your habits have already told you that when shit is hard, you avoid it. What do you think you're telling yourself when you're trying to establish a new habit? No, every day you have to rewire yourself and you have to tell your mind and paint the image that this is what I want to do. Past and present. You have to look at yourself and hold it. When people talk about rewriting timelines, it's like, oh, we had a timeline shift. Yeah. What do you think a timeline shift really is? A change in habits. Your timeline doesn't change without your habits changing. I don't give a fuck how hard you want to try. Like, if you still stuck, like, people be like, yo, I'm stuck in survival mode, because that's your habit. I just want to thrive. I want I want to be in this era. I want to do that, and change the fucking habit. So to change the habit, right, look at all that has to go into it. You would have to do all of this that I'm about to say in 21 days. You have to develop a passion. You have to develop a passion for something new. How do you do that? After you develop the passion, means that every feeling that you have about this shit, you're open to. Then you have to be committed to that new thing. Then you have to be disciplined and consistent. Discipline means consistent to do the thing over and over again. Consistent is to do it the same way. Right? You have to do it in 21 days and still make it bypass the conscious, subconscious, and unconscious minds. It has to seep down into the unconscious mind. It has to go through belief, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. You feel what I'm saying? And it has to relate to both your past and your present. Most of us only say thinking about the past. I mean, your past and your future. Most of us focus more solely on the past and the shit that we've gone through, not focusing on the shit that we go through. That's one of the reasons why habits can't change. That's one of the things that makes it most difficult for habits. And as a man, when you're not taught your emotions, when you have no emotional intelligence, I'm not saying it in a disrespectful way, when we're taught to not be emotionally grounded or emotionally sound, but to be numb and disconnected, where do you think we're going to develop passion at? You can put 21 days in 21 times. The habit will never take root if you cannot put your emotions to it. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. But that's by design. Do you know why? Because masculinity is about analysis and deconstruction. If a man can get to a point where he can create a habit within himself that'll break him free from the system and create the masculine, like he can show others how to do the same shit. But it takes the analysis and deconstruction. It takes the analysis and deconstruction, because after that, after you have the belief in something, that's why they say seeing is believing, or, you got to have faith. This is why I talk about in the Tree of Life in So Frail 3. Faith and fear are the same thing. They are both going to be the things that can elicit your passion to it. If you have faith in it, you walk into the belief side of it. And when you walk into the belief, you can easily start to develop the capacity to gain the knowledge. This is why I say the quickest way to gain knowledge is to study the antithesis. Don't just study what you want to see, study what you don't want to see either. So that way, if you study what you want to see and you study what you don't want to see, you will see everything. That's really that simple. The antithesis shows you both sides, and where the two sides come together and say the same, where opposing sides say the same thing, that's where the truth is, and that's where your knowledge is found. Now you can take that and develop your experience with it. Once you develop experience with the shit, that's when you start to make that connection with it. I've experienced this. I felt this. Now, as I felt this, every experience, this is where experimentation comes in, because every experience makes me feel a different way. Tying it back to trading and shit. When I first started trading, it's like I had to experience a good feeling. I had to experience a bad feeling. I had to experience a winning trade. I had to experience a failing trade. And then from experiencing both sides of those, I was able to develop the pattern. Then I was able to understand it. That opened up my mind to be able to move it beyond my conscious mind. I don't have to think about this shit no more. I don't. So much so that if I know that, like, I will know that I'm wrong without knowing that I'm wrong. And that's what's, it be scaring me sometimes, yo. I ain't even gonna hold you. I'll be about to take a trade and they be like, that ain't good. I'll be like, nah, the analysis. Zoom out. I'll zoom out. I'm like, oh, yeah, larger player about to kick in on me. Oh, this nigga making it go the other way. Let me counter trend this motherfucker right now. You feel me? Those things happen. But it comes from being able to lock in. And now when your habits are there, that's when, no, I ain't even get to the habit yet. Let me finish the thought with the understanding. And that's when you come to the understanding. Understanding is when you're able to accept or reject something. Understanding only comes after experience. Because now, not only from the knowledge do I have both sides of what I don't want to see or what I do want to see, I experience what I do want to experience and what I don't want to experience. And that's when I can accept, okay, this is starting to feel like something I don't want to feel, but I know what it feels like. This is starting to feel like something I do want to feel, but I know what it feels like. Now I can choose to accept or reject. Now I can start to move things from my conscious mind down to my subconscious mind, into my unconscious mind through the routine of repetitively redoing them. You feel me? Now, when I think about the past, when I think about the future, I'm able to fully encompass the same scenario, same reality, without overthinking or underthinking. You know what I'm saying? The past is used to make sure that you don't overthink the future. The future is used to make sure you don't underthink the past. You feel me? That's how those things tie into each other. So when you look at the mind split between emotion and thought, the emotion side is joy and pain, but the thought side is past and future, hindsight and foresight. This is why they tell you, hindsight is 2020. So is foresight. If your hindsight is 2020, your foresight is 2020 as well, when you're able to see the future from the past. You see what I'm saying? And then by doing that, you're able to ultimately see how the past has been affecting the future. When you can see how the past has been affecting the future, you can see how the past will affect the future, which determines how you need to be habitual, my nigga. You feel what I'm saying? And then from there, now you can develop a routine. You feel me? Now you can develop a routine because now you're able to say, if I do this, I know that I want to create a future a certain way. That's all routines are designed to do. Create the future. That's where the deficit comes in. We create routines off cleaning up the past rather than fixing the future. I'm going to say that shit again. Most of our routines that we try to develop is about fixing the past, being reactive, as opposed to preparing for the future, being proactive. You don't believe me? Most motherfuckers don't want to go to the gym because of what they want their body to do later. They want to go to the gym for what they have to fix from what they have to already fix on their body. I want to lose weight. I want to gain muscle that I don't have. Everything is predicated upon the past and not like, I don't want to focus on I want my body to be able to do this. You see what I'm saying? And I'm just using that from the gym's perspective. So it's hard to make the routine when you constantly stay in the past thinking about what you have to fix about the past, because you know why? Every time you look in the mirror, you see the past that you have to fix. And it's hard to get through it. Like, I got a homie. Well, she ain't really a homie, but she a homie. Like, we don't know each other, but we know each other. Whatever. But I got a homie. She bad, bro. That's why I said she ain't a homie, but she the homie, but she ain't the homie. You feel what I'm saying? Like, we know each other, but we don't know each other. But like, she bad as fuck. And she work out. And like, we talk periodically. I tell her all the time, like, yo, your body looks really good. Like, not on no lustful shit, but like, I watched her progress. You feel me? I've seen her consistency. Like, that's one of the things that I really like about her. Like, I tell her this all the time and shit. Like, yo, what I like when I see you and you show your pictures in the gym and shit like that, it's like, I see your discipline and your consistency, and that's what I like. That's what turned me on about you. I like, yeah, you bad, you beautiful, you cute and everything. I like that too, but it's your discipline, because I can see it. Like, I see your habits. You feel me? You don't have to tell me you go to the gym. I can see it. You feel me? Even if she didn't post like on a regular basis and shit like that, I see the shit. It's like, yo, I see discipline. I see consistency. I see the passion. I see the commitment. I see the routine. I see it, my nigga. Like, I see it, and that's what I like. The body is just chiseling out the way it's supposed to. My bad, y'all. She bad though. But as she was so as we was talking and I was explaining that to her and shit, she said, but I still gotta lose 9 more pounds. I was like, all right, that's cool. I'm not going to be one of those, yo, except no, because you see the future and what you really want to go with. But at least respect the fact that your habits have gotten you to this point right now. Because it's like, I seen your whole transformation. And that shit is fucking raw. Like, you feel what I'm saying? But I use her as an example with the 9 pounds because she continues to see that she needs to lose the 9 pounds. You see what I'm saying? And that is the space where, when we're doing our routine, is to erase the past. Yeah, she's building the future. She wants to, okay, I want my body to look like this, and I want to have I got these goals in mind, and I got this shit that I'm looking at. But still her focus is to lose the 9 pounds, to lose the weight that she has. So she still sees herself from the past. You feel me? Not from the person that is in the future. This is one of the things that, it's when they tell you, oh, your mindset has to be right and all of the shit. You have to, do you not see everything that I just went through in order to actually set up the correct routine in order to be proactive with something? Some of us have and this is not, I'm off her like conversation. Like I said, I give her flowers all the time. I tell her, look, hey, fuck them 9 pounds, bro. Hey, yo, real shit. I'm like, yo, fuck them 9 pounds, yo. Ain't nobody worried about them 9 pounds. I know you are, but like, yo, keep pushing. Get your 9 down. But I'm letting you know right now, yo, hey, them 9 pounds ain't gonna make a difference at this point. I'm just telling you straight up, baby. For real. But nah. When, off that conversation, when we looking at how we're setting up our habits and, our conditionals from where we going, what ends up happening is that we don't set it up to be proactive from the future. We set it up to be reactive to the past. When your habits, and this is a cheat code, law of vibration and everything, and I'm going to say this and I'm going to start trying to wrap it up. This is how you get out of survival mode. Survival mode is when we develop habits to react. Survival mode is when you're in fight or flight response. And when you can't flee, you fight, which means everything around you has to be a reaction. You respond to everything as if it's a reaction. You feel me? When you have set up habits that are proactive, you're prepared for whatever comes next. That's the only difference between surviving and thriving. It's the way in which it's the way in which our habits are formed. Some people form habits to be able to be at ease until something happens. That's when they get turned on and then they handle their business or do whatever they do. Some people are put in a space where they develop the habits to where if this presents itself, I'm ready for it. Sticking it in and working out. If you get robbed, I ain't gonna say robbed. You catch a fade, right? Now you're in a space where I lost this fight. Now I'm gonna say it like this. I'm gonna still use the fight example. You get into your first fight and you get beat up. From your first fight, you now say, okay, let me now go get stronger in the gym. Let me now, your barometer is now that first fight, right? Everything has to be built to that first fight. I'm going to make the Dragon Ball Z reference in a second too, because it just came to me that this shit is relevant. But that's your first fight. Now, when you have never fought before, right? But you've always trained, you've always practiced for the anticipation that, somebody might whoop my ass. I could be like, and when the fight happens, you're already prepared for it. It's different than having to react to fighting, because now there's a barometer that I'm going to get beat up again this way, or I could get beat up this way, or you might win your first fight. And if you win your first fight, now I don't have to train. But then when you have been proactive that anything could happen at any given time, now I'm prepared for whatever fight comes. When that fight comes, sometimes you could be over-prepared, sometimes you might be under-prepared, but you have been on a proactive space. You have developed the habits for what's to come, not what has already been. You feel what I'm saying? Reason why I said that was because if we look at Goku and Vegeta, right? And this is why, low-key, this is why I feel from the lesson that Vegeta is always one step behind Goku. Vegeta never took a loss. Kind of with Frieza too, because Frieza said he never trained until he got dusted off by Goku. But Vegeta never took a loss. Goku had been getting faded for a long time, but Vegeta had never really took a true loss. You feel what I'm saying? But when Goku trains, he trains for what's to come. Vegeta trains off the trauma of what's already been. His limitation is always going to be what's always been. His habits, the routines, whatever he develops is always going to be based off of what has already been, because this is what has affected me. You feel what I'm saying? Goku's is different because he sets for the proactive side. Just in case something comes, I want to be ready in all facets. So while Vegeta it's about Saiyan pride, I'm just a Saiyan. Goku says, I'm a Saiyan too, but other niggas know how to fight, bro. So I'm going to go learn instant transmission. I'm going to go learn from, if you look at Vegeta's just a Saiyan. His fighting style is ruthless, is aggressive, or whatever the case may be. He's just a Saiyan, right? As Vegeta, where he learned from, Vegeta said, I'm a Saiyan, bro. We just like to fight. This is what it is. Goku has Master Roshi. He has Korin. He has King Kai. He has, who else trained him? Mr. Popo. He has Beerus. He has Whis. Motherfucking Vegeta didn't catch on until he seen that with Goku. Then Vegeta, he has Beerus. He has Whis as well. I think Vegeta even went with the Metamaris as well, because Goku trained with the Metamaris people too as well. Vegeta started training with them. It wasn't until Vegeta started training with other people that he became proactive, which gave him his ultra ego ability, and now him and Goku, it is what it is. But these two it's just what it is. But the purpose in all of that story was to show that the routines, now, in order to truly develop habits, your mind has to be right. It's just not 21 days. It's 21 days of constantly programming something into your unconscious mind. It's 21 days of having a routine where there's passion, commitment, discipline, consistency, and passion, commitment, discipline, and consistency. And it's you have belief in it, you have knowledge of it, you have understanding of it, wisdom with it, and you have understanding of it. You feel what I'm saying? It's being emotionally drawn to it and having a thought behind it. It's being able to tie both joy and pain to it and hindsight and foresight to it all at one time. You have to be able to do that for 21 days in order for a habit to form. How is that going to be possible for you when you sleep 8 hours? You have to go and get into somebody else's habit. You're developing habits in a whole different realm that ain't got nothing to do with you. And then you have the other 8 hours where you're driving home and you have to spend time with other people and shit and other commitments and all of that shit. You're not designed to be habitual correctly. You're designed to be programmed. You're designed to vibrate with somebody else's law of vibration. And in vibrating with another law of vibration, you're not able to vibrate within your own, which means you're not able to develop your own habits, which means that it gets to a space where you can only be reactive to things. You don't know how to be proactive. You're not able to be proactive. Because your habits and your routines, it starts with passion. You have to spend time with things to get passionate about it. You have to get passionate about shit in order to be committed to it. You have to be committed to it in order to be disciplined and consistent with it. You feel me? And it's not until you actually have consistency with it that you can develop a routine. You have to do the same thing the same way in order to know how to do it the same way and be comfortable doing the same thing in the same way. That's the routine. To where it's no longer a problem. For example, when it comes to, plant-based eating, people don't have enough discipline to eat the same way, which is crazy to me because people say, I just can't eat the same thing all the time. Who said you had to eat the same thing all the time? Well, I got to eat salads. And no, you don't just eat salads. There's 5 food groups that you got to know. You have fruits, vegetables, nuts and seeds, whole grains, legumes, and melons. Well, no, I said 5 already. So melons is fruit basically. But you have fruits, vegetables, nuts and seeds, because they pretty much go together, whole grains, and legumes. Well, you only know about fruits and vegetables because that's what you're supposed to do. Because in the way that you eat right now, the only fruits and vegetables you get are from salad. The only plant-based shit that you get is from a salad. And then the lettuce, tomatoes, pickles, and onions that you eat on a burger, those are your vegetables. So your mind already perceives that's all there is to eat. But then when you go into understanding those 5 groups and you're like, damn, a legume is a bean. Off the legumes alone, you have garbanzos, lentils, you have navy beans, pinto beans, black-eyed peas. The list goes on with the beans. You feel what I'm saying? From the fruit, you already know how many fruits you have. Vegetables, you already know how many nuts and seeds. Everything has nuts and seeds in it. Some seeds you can't eat. I'm not going to recommend them. Don't eat some seeds. Like, you can't eat a mango seed, bro. I mean, you probably could. I don't know if your teeth's strong enough. But for the most part, the nuts and seeds, the proteins. Now, when you look at nuts, you have almonds, cashews, walnuts, chestnuts. Like, there's so many different nuts that you can eat. You feel me? And these things are supposed to be, like, these are the things that you got to eat from. So now when people say, it's just not enough to eat, and yet they eat the same things every day. Beef, chicken, and pork. How is that? How are you not complaining about that? Because it's so wired into your habit. There's a passion with it. The way in which it's cooked, the emotional attachment creates that. It ain't no different than any habit that you have to form. It starts with passion. It starts with passion. You have to have a passion for something in order to be committed to it. You can't do it from a reactive state. I want to change my habits because I'm reacting to some shit. Reaction don't breed passion. Because reaction is a fight or flight, is a stimulus of is a respondent to fight or flight response. You're in survival mode when you just react to some shit. It's when you're proactive that you're able to sit down and say, I can develop passion for this. And when I have passion, I can commit it. I can't commit to this because I can't just give this up. Oh, so why can't you just, because the passion of wanting to live longer or wanting to eat better or wanting to, like, a lot of people don't have that passion for that because the only passion that they have is to go through suffering. I'm going to blame religion, because niggas make fucking suffering feel good. If I suffer enough in the afterlife, no, you don't have to. You can prosper in this life and still make it to the afterlife. We think they're the reward. You see what I'm saying? Like, shit's crazy. But these are habits. This is a habit. Habit is beyond just what you do every day. It is what's wired into your unconscious mind for you to do when you don't think about it. Which means you have to be intentional with habits before they become habits. So when a motherfucker say, that wasn't my intention to do some shit like that, it was. It was. You just didn't know it was your intention because you didn't know what habits, you weren't aware of the habits that you have. You have these habits. You have these habits. These are the things that you habitually do. Now the question is, are you going to take these habits seriously and look at them and go back and say, oh, I'm passionate about this. Good or bad, I have passion with this. That's why I'm committed to it. And because I'm committed to it, I'm disciplined enough to do the same thing with this habit and consistent enough to do it the same way without even thinking about it. Back to the brushing your teeth example. You probably brush your teeth with your right hand. If you're right-handed, you're going to brush your teeth the same way. Every day. You do the same thing and don't even think about it. Put a little water on your your toothbrush, squeeze the toothpaste over it, run the water again. Like, you do these things without even having to think about it. Your mind literally thinks about other things while you're doing your habits. That's how you know it's a habit. When you're sitting through thinking about it, saying, I have to do this, that's how you know it's not a habit. But then when you're not doing that habit and it's nagging you, that's how you know it's a habit, because it's the addiction. This is what I mean. In the moment of doing it, you're able to do other things. When I first started smoking as a kid, like when I first tried it, it was like I'm sneaking, my mind is running. It's like no addiction had not taken place. I had not been doing it long enough for it to become a habit yet. So I'm thinking solely about smoking at the time that I'm smoking. Oh, my lungs hurt. It's making my lungs do this. Now it's like I be midway. I be on my phone. I be doing some of everything, walking back and forth, chilling. Like, my mind isn't even on smoking anymore because it's a habit. You see what I'm saying? When I'm podcasting, this is why I tell you, I don't even remember what the fuck I be talking about when I be talking about these episodes. People have to remind me what I've said in these episodes. Because for one, it's a download. But for two, I'm just giving the information that's already there. And because I'm so habitual with the shit, I don't have to think about podcasting. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's little things that I don't even have to think about anymore. It's just like, yo, go do this, and this is, you know what I'm saying? But that is a part of tapping into the habit. And I think from this point, this is gonna be the end of the series on this. But yeah, you have to find passion, bro. If you want to change your habits, you have to change what you're passionate about. You have to change what you're passionate about. And that's hard as fuck to do because you've been passionate about some shit all your life. But developing passion is just truly tapping into the feeling and making sure you feel every ray of emotion about something. And be willing and open to that shit. And then commit to that. When you commit to that, then you can be disciplined. Then you can then you can find habits. And in finding these habits, you can probably locate the woman that you're supposed to be with. You can probably locate the woman that aligns with your habits, the shit that you can't change, but you got to be able to identify your habits. And your habits are the things that make your life both beneficial and detrimental. When shit starts going bad in your life, pay attention to it. What habits are making my shit crash? When shit starts going good in your life, pay attention. What habits are making your things shit rise? So now you can see I can start to tweak my detrimental habits because there's still some passion there. There's still some passion that makes it a habit. That's why I keep doing this shit, even though it's destroying me. But I have to figure out where that lies. You feel what I'm saying? This is improving me. So I have to figure out where that resides. What passion is there? And it's like you realize, oh, I have the same passion on either side. When I'm not doing either of these things, I feel the same way. But one is just having a bad outcome creating a detrimental outcome in my life. The other one is creating a beneficial outcome in my life. But it all derives from the fact that I am now in a routine of something that I have habits for. And as I said, routine is not a schedule. The moment you can break that, the moment you can get that part out of your mind, that it is a schedule, that it's something I have to do every single day at a specific time. Mm-mm, mm-mm. Routine and habit are things that ritualistically are going to get done with or without my attention. I don't have to be attentive to this shit to get it done. That's a routine. That's a habit. It doesn't matter what time of the day you do it. It doesn't matter if you do it when you first wake up or whatever the case may be, or before you go to sleep. It is when you're going to do it regardless, because it is a routine. And don't forget to check out Cafe Clothing, formerly Just Scenes merch. Get all of your intricate designs crafted specifically for the melanated being to develop a positive imagery within self and to have a little bit of fun in the process. From the peace, love, knowledge, and freedom to the dead horses and water designs, all of the styles are crafted for the imagery to make you feel as you're supposed to feel. Because as I always say, the best way to fit in is to stand out. And what better way to stand out than with your exclusive styles from Cafe Clothing. All right. I'm going to go ahead and end it there. That concludes the series on passion, commitment, consistency, discipline, and routine and habit. But yeah, that's routine and habit. I know I didn't talk much about routine and habit because it was kind of a lot of it compounding on the passions and the commitments and discipline shit, but it all goes together. These are our habits, bro. Our habits are derived from the things that we're passionate about. Our habits are derived from the things that are so wired into our unconscious mind that we no longer think about doing them. We no longer have to think about it anymore. We just do it. My nigga, like, you just do it. And it's a beautiful feeling. Don't get me wrong, it's a beautiful feeling, but it's both. You have to understand its detriment and its benefit. Habits are the things that we have wired to our emotions, so wide, which is our passion, that we no longer have to feel about it, nor think about it, because it is in a space in our mind that doesn't require it. You feel me? When you get to that point, when you understand habit from that perspective, I promise you it becomes easier to change your habits. I say easier, not easy. But it becomes easier to change your habits because now you know where the root is. One thing they always say is like, when you're changing your reality, you changing your mind, this is the power of going back to the past. When did I develop this passion? Because half of the time, the shit that you develop the passion for, it's not even in your life right now. But yet you still continue in the habit. You feel me? I smoke weed for the first time with people that I'm not friends with anymore. And it's not on no like I hate them or no shit like that, but it's like we just grew apart. Like we're not even friends anymore. I was 11 years old when I smoked my first joint. You feel me? And the people that I smoked my first joint with, I'm not even around them no more, but I still smoke weed. How? You feel what I'm saying? People be thinking your friends influence you. No, your friends elicit passion because they're your friends. Y'all are friends, and that's where the passion comes in. We ride together. You know what I'm saying? We bump heads with each other, but we're friends. We may have disagreements, we may have arguments, but every ray of emotion is there, and we're friends. So anything that we do together automatically starts habits, especially if we do them together. This is what peer pressure is. A lot of the peer pressure comes from passion. And it comes from the passion of, yo, this is my friend. I'm going to experience every ray of feeling with my friend. That's really what it is. Now, when there's certain things that for example, I don't drink anymore, but I did drink. You know what I'm saying? I did drink. My passion changed for drinking when I actually saw myself fucked up. And I saw myself in a position I didn't like. I don't drink no more because of that. My passion changed. It's no longer a habit. This is no longer a habit in my life. Like even when people say, yo, I'm not addicted to it. I'm just a recreational drinker. You're drinking every time passion is present, right? When do you drink? Around your friends, social gatherings and shit? Yeah, it's just a matter of time before those social gathering friends and shit start becoming your real friends in your life. And then now you got to turn up to go pregame and shit like that. Yeah. Habit ain't got shit to do with doing something every single day or doing something every single week. It's when the right conditions exhibit themselves for the habit to be expressed. You feel what I'm saying? And it all starts from the passion. Because like I said, when I stopped smoking, when I stopped drinking, I ain't stopped smoking yet. I have not locked down the passion. I have not found what the passion was yet for me to erase it. I don't. All I know is that when I first started smoking, and this is when I think it's kind of getting. I think I'm gonna figure it out now. When I say this, when I first started smoking was around the time I became an entrepreneur. I'm still an entrepreneur and I'm still smoking. Somewhere in there, and then there was a woman that I had met. I was not smoking at the time. I was not smoking at the time, and it was like she was like, "Oh, you don't smoke? I don't smoke like that." And then she smoked. So I was like, it didn't matter. We don't even talk no more, but I still smoke. Now we were. It was just weed and shit, but it was like in me stopping to smoke weed. Damn, that's what it is. When my homeboy got killed, like we would smoke. Like when my young homie got killed in Philly, it was like I wanted to stop smoking weed because the passion was there. I remember when he died and shit, and we got smoked out for him, and we were just like, damn. And I was like, I can't do this because if I keep smoking like this, it's gonna become a habit. I didn't know none of the passion and all of the other shit that I was tying it to, but I see now. But instead of that, I didn't, rather than addressing the passion for it, I changed the cue. This is what I was saying, the routine, the cue, the reward, and routine. I changed the routine. Instead of smoking weed, I said, I'm going to smoke cigars until I don't want weed anymore. And like a dumbass, and I'm saying it like a dumbass, even though I don't like calling myself dumb, but like a dumbass, I switched from weed to cigars and been smoking cigars ever since. It would have been so much easier just to stop smoking weed. But now it's harder to stop smoking cigars because the nicotine has the binds and all of the chemicals and shit with it that's different. But now I'm seeing where that passion was at. And the habit was there because I never addressed the passion. And by never addressing the passion, I was never able to get to the commitment. This ain't to say I'm going to quit right after this episode. But even that ties into it because when you start, I would make justification for myself. Like, I'd be like, nah, I don't feel like, I'm not going to smoke no more. I would tell myself that, but like, but you did buy it. Might as well finish the cigars you got right now. Like, don't throw them away. Don't waste them. You know what I'm saying? I would bargain with myself. Shit like that. But that's because of the passion that was there. If you want to create new habits and you want to develop them, you know, and I know it's like, well, seeing how you going to say that if you still, because other habits that I have been successful with and I've applied this process to it. I literally did not apply the process to this because I felt like there was no passion. I didn't know what the passionate source was to why I smoked until I just said it. Because I never addressed it because I never wanted to address my homeboy's death. I never wanted to because he was too young. Like there was a passion there. Like he was way too young to die. He was 21 when he got killed. And the passion was there because, you know, we hung out, we talked business, we talked entrepreneurship, we went to strip clubs together, we talked hoes, cars, like we were friends, bro. We were friends. And it was a passion there that I just avoided as opposed to dealing with. And until I just uttered those words and actually addressed it, I was able to make the connection, which means I can alter the habit now because I can remove the passion that I have from that. If you've read So Frail 2, he's the one I dedicated So Frail 2 to. Like he's that dedication at the beginning, he's the one who I dedicated to. Because it was like, damn, bro. I ain't never healed from that. I just distracted myself with entrepreneurship. But like I was saying, because all of that shit ran concurrent with the entrepreneurship, me smoking, and the woman that I was dealing with, and him dying, it all ran together. So the passions was easy to set up for a habit. You feel me? Because all of the feelings were there. Because the reason why it hurt so bad when he was gone, because it was, you know, felt good while he was here. You see what I'm saying? And it was the connection and all of that shit. So when you're getting ready, when you're fucking with your habits and shit, I'm gonna go ahead and end it, bro. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end it. Go kiss your babies. Make sure they eat their vegetables. And our kids, they're already showing us what they're passionate about. They can go ahead and develop. You can develop their habits for them. You can force them into the habits through the passion of despising you by, you know, shifting them into paradigms that they may or may not want to be in. Or you can guide them into the way that they should go by showing them, by accepting what passions they have, making them commit to those and all that other good shit that I mentioned in the other previous ones, and then develop routines and habits. You feel me? Their habits are going to be what they see you do the most. Their habit, like if you want them to have good habits, you got to have good habits. But even deeper than having good habits, you have to understand when the habit is developed. The moment you see your kid become passionate about something, a habit is about to be formed. When you see who their friends are and who they hang around the most, that's where the habits are being formed. If you cannot provide passion to your child, you're not going to help develop their habits. Even if you make them fear you, be scared of you, whatever, you're not going to develop their habits, because where they find passion is where their habits are going to develop. You feel me? So when it comes to our sons, we really got to start setting that up. We need to have more habits than just being fucking athletes and shit. You know, develop habits tied to passion and teach them how to become passionate with certain things, you know, which requires you to go through the different levels of the mind and shit like that. But I'm going to go ahead and end it there, yo. Go kiss your babies. Make sure they eat their vegetables. And I'm going to see y'all all on the next one. Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom. I'm out.